Zoe, you're the Unboring Your Brand podcast and you're talking about being boring? What? I'm going to ask you to do something that I don't ask people to do, but I'm going to ask you to be boring. Be beige, be plain. For you, on your standards. Come with me, I'll show you what I mean. Tired of marketing advice that sounds nothing like you? Good, let's fix that. Produced on Waterung Land. Yes, I know that sounds mightily contradictory, Zoe. What the hell are you even talking about? Okay, come with me on this journey, and I'm going to ask you to stop adding more and start doing less better. I know that sounds a bit contradictory to me, considering I am all about doing more. And ultimately, I want to reaffirm that it's not I'm asking you to do more. I've never asked you to do more. You've come to me for personal branding, video marketing advice. I am your video confidence coach for that reason. But I'm not asking you to do more. I usually ask you to find your BFM. What is your bare effing minimum? What is the thing that you can do consistently? What are the habits you can build? What are the systems you can build? What are the processes you can build? And the reason for this is because this is what I do every day in my business. I work with people on creating constant strategies, processes, consistent habits that they can build to build, their personal branding toolkit, their personal video toolkit that they can use to help them attract new leads, keep current ones, or reinvigorate old leads, being able to run their personal brand or their business effectively without strain, because I have been doing that for so long in my business. Before I carry on and before I get into today's episode, I'd like to thank specifically Aroha, Aroha. My apologies. I realize I haven't actually said it out loud and I probably should have looked at translation. Apologies for that. We had a very detailed conversation via a Disco chat. Feel free to check out yours in the comments, where the question that spurred on this conversation, and I thank you for allowing me to add this as a podcast episode, was specifically, how do I know when to add a new offering or a service or another aspect of my marketing, when to just stay the course with what I already have. And really, this panged me a little bit in the heart because as I am recording this live, I have been stripping back. I have been actively taking time on my health, on my family, but I've also been stripping back a lot of the stuff that I've built in within my business, including some of the bad mental habits that I had and continue to use well into my business, of turning my fear into procrastination and turning in my self-disgust of not trying to achieve my goals or doing things on a daily basis. And that has been converted into overwhelm, but we are working on trying to pull that back around to something a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more preferential to me, and what I'm trying to do with my business. But I think this is a really good time for me to explain this to you, my loyal listener and watcher of the podcast, because as we progress forward into this stage of capitalism in the world, there is a constant push to do more. Yes, the rise of AI definitely has something to do with that, because you could do this while the AI is doing that. You could do this while another AI is doing that, and we're just speed running, burning the planet down. And it doesn't ultimately help you achieve your goals if you don't know what those goals are. It doesn't help you achieve your strategy if it's not going to help you do it. Is it going to help you do something that you're afraid to do, shit scared to do? Awesome. Use those tools as the tools they are intended to be. Are you using it to avoid things? Then no. And when you do find yourself feeling the need to put on new services, put on new offerings, add, when there's no opportunity to wipe the slate clean, rethink your strategy, or take anything away, you are going to lead to burnout super fast, super quickly, and if you are anything like me, super bloody often. I was born burnt out. I spent my entire childhood and teenagehood in a perpetual 3 to 4 day burnout cycle where I would just push, die for 12 to 24 hours and then get up, push, just constantly. I lived my life until my body had enough and I had to go into cancer treatment. And my body just kind of like had to pull it in and just go, nope, you can't keep doing this. And of course, there are many, don't come for me, medical community. I am fully aware that cancer is not necessarily linked to one thing. But the burnout cycle definitely didn't help now, did it? And I'm not saying this to traumatize you, and I'm not saying this if I have brought up anything that is upsetting to you. I want you to sit with me with it. I want to bring you in and let you know that this type of burnout and this need to constantly do more, to constantly add, can sometimes look like ambition from the outside. And when you are a personal brand builder, there is a lot of aesthetics. I can't lie about that. There is a lot of aesthetics. And when it comes to other people viewing what you're doing, it does look like ambition. But when from your potential audience's point of view, or maybe from your potential collaborators, or even your family, it can look like someone with lots of ideas, energy, a lot of projects on the go, and maybe not so many actions. Feel free to reflect on that if that is you. But when you are taking this opportunity to build your personal brand, grow your personal brand, or run your own business, there is no one above you saying no. Now, of course, you are doing everything in your personal brand, not for you, but for your community, for your clients, for your network. And they can push back. They can all push back on things. But, as you may have guessed, everything that you do is decided on you, on how you spend your time. And that can be quite freeing for a lot of people who maybe have done the hustle grind culture thing, or you've worked in companies or corporates all your life, or maybe you've been working in other types of businesses in your life, and you feel the freedom of getting to do what you want, but now everything is on you. And this need and drive to be constantly doing makes things complicated real quick. And this is where you start to unravel rather quickly. And recently, having a chat, Aroha, this is something that you were definitely experiencing. And when it comes to you, repeating the same core message, and that's what we decided as your best course of action during our disco chat. And for those who are interested, a disco chat is a 13 minutes complimentary call to talk about your idea and your project. And if I can help you, I send you off to the next step. Or if I can't help you, I'll give you the next recommendation that I have. We ultimately decided that she needed to take a step back, do a bit more like thinking on strategy, not necessarily the action, because that's what strategy is, just not planning. I want to stress. Strategy is planning to take action, giving yourself the chunk down steps to take action, and then scheduling in time and taking that action. Like, that's what strategy is. It's essentially doing all the steps. And for Aroha, we ultimately planned repeating the same core message over and over and over again. And she grimaced a little bit, but I explained that it is not lazy. Repeating yourself over and over again is how your audience is going to remember you. And saying the same things over and over again may feel like insanity, but it is ultimately repetition, and it is not monotony. Because if you want to be known for something, you have to be seen, you have to be heard, and you have to be understood. And in doing so, you need to be on that same treadmill. You are going to get bored, of course, but you are not going to be boring, because you are doing this to grow your personal brand, but you are doing this to serve your audience. You are doing this for them. And you aren't going to be for everyone. And I'm going to stress that to everyone. You are not going to be for everyone. For example, what I like to bring up is, for those who may not hear, I wear bold, dramatic makeup when I record these podcast episodes. I wear bright blue. I have a setup on your screen that has so many colors and so many words because that is who I am as a person. But I do my best to bring it back constantly to talk about personal branding, video marketing, marketing strategy. Those are my fields. Those are my points. And sometimes, even this week, I felt a little bit like, wow, my stuff is too broad. That is not the case, but because I have strategy and planned this. But sometimes that's what it feels like when I am saying the same things over and over again. But that's what people need. Speaking to the same talking points is how you become known for something bigger than yourself. You become memorable and not forgettable. And that is what the overwhelm of constantly having to do more, constantly having to do new things can weigh on you. Because you get bored. We are humans. You can get bored of your own thoughts, your own strategies. You can get bored of your own work. And that is okay. But I want you to take that opportunity to put yourselves in the shoes of your target market, your customer avatar, the person you are ultimately doing this for. Do they care that you're repeating yourself? No, because you're giving them benefits. You're serving them. You're helping them. You're helping them take action on something that they've been putting off for months, years, maybe even decades. You're helping them achieve something that they know they want to achieve, but they have no idea how. Or they know how, but they're scared to take that step. You need to be there, and you need to be there repeatedly. And I'm not talking about posting the same message 3 times on social media. This has to be your brand. This has to be your website. This has to be your colors, the way you present yourself, the way that you practice what you preach has to constantly be brought back to these messages because simple works. And at the moment, with everything that is going on in the world and the chaos that it can constantly devolve into, simple is needed. Now, that might make you boring to yourself, yes.
Pausing your podcast experience to let you know I'm on LinkedIn. Follow me for business tips, video hacks, and a little bit of sass right here on LinkedIn. Wait, we're not here yet. Follow me on LinkedIn and you come join. Come join.
You are not going to be boring to the people who actually care about what you do. You aren't going to be boring to the people that it matters to. Because you are speaking their language. You are constantly affirming your message, but you're also adapting with new information that you get from the people that you are there to serve. Your personal brand is something that you have for your entire life because you are working with other people. Your personal brand is the professional reflection of you. Your reputation is something that you can't control, but you can steer it with your personal brand. And on top of a full life, whether it's your business, your career, your corporate role, or all of the above, taking that pressure away from yourself, especially when you are the one who put it there in the bloody first place. I might be speaking to myself a little bit there, but boring to yourself means that your audience is getting comfortable with you, and that ultimately builds trust, which is ultimately a good thing. And if you are constantly burnt out, you are not doing the work. If you are finding that you don't have the motivation to keep going, you are going to get bored of yourself and you are not going to keep going. And maybe you don't have the right motivation. That's fine. Find the right motivation because you are there to help and serve people. And if that doesn't work for you, that's okay. Maybe it's not the right thing for you. Maybe you're not in the right career path, or maybe you're not thinking of the things the way that can make you the happiest. And yes, it may be quite hard, especially when you've worked for something really hard. But this is your life. You have the opportunity to take the risks with your personal brand that you want to take because it's yours. You're the one putting in the work. You're the one putting in the effort. And it reflects on you. And that capacity of your personal brand, it ultimately comes with choice. When you're not burnt out chasing every single idea that you come up with, you have energy left for things that can move the needle for yourself and for your business or for your brand. You can repurpose content that you've already done. You can offer group programs, one to many, so your energy is spent more efficiently. You can build income that doesn't require you to start from scratch every single goddamn month. And that is what marketing should be doing. Why do you think we put so much effort into the strategy of it? And I've recently launched the finishing room for anyone who I work with during a one-off session or a retainer. It is locked in times every single week where we take the opportunity to sit there and I'm like, here, I'm your marketing coach. I'm going to make you do the work that you said you were going to do. Do it. And yes, I can be a very harsh teacher. That is what it's for. And yes, you can do all the strategy in the world, but if you're not taking action on any of it, it is absolutely bloody wasted. And I spent so much of my career in my previous businesses where this kept happening. And even earlier in running the Video Confidence Coach, where I just kind of let you do it because I thought you had the same motivation. But you don't, and that's okay. Understanding yourself and understanding when you have too much going on, where you constantly feel overwhelmed, and especially if it's overwhelmed that you've put yourself in. If you have one too many offers, if you have one too many platforms, if you have too many things going on that is not guaranteeing you income so that you can pay your team, pay yourself, and pay all the people that you owe. If it's not guaranteed income, none of this is possible if you cannot understand your own limitations, but also be understanding what your own values are. What do you value more? I personally value connection. Now, is connection me spending time editing a video? Not necessarily. Is connection me getting out there and pitching myself, for example? Then yes. Reaching out to people, seeing what people are doing or trying to achieve, putting out there into the universe and saying, hey, I can help you with that. And that's where leads come from, because I want to be there to serve. But in doing so, I need to take this boulder that I've constantly put on my shoulders, and you do too. You need to be thinking that it's okay to park an idea, to think of it later, put it in the notebook, put it in the Evernote, the Notion, whatever it is, put it in your Google Docs. Projects will not expire. Your energy will. And when it comes to being boring, yes, you are going to find that you are going through the hoops, that you are going through the motions. And that is not if that's constantly going to be your feeling for the rest of your life, then probably not the best thing to do here. I'm asking you to take that time to establish by having these core messages. And these core messages can be as simple as 3 core messages that you push again and again and again in videos that you post often and repeatedly. You repurpose them. You use them in podcast guestings that you attend, in live streamings that you run or attend, that you use them in webinars. People are going to remember how you made them feel. And if you put the effort into crafting these messages, these stories, use them often. Your grand ideas are worth having because your brain is an ideas machine. Crafting the habit of taking action on those ideas is a great habit to instill in yourself, but not at the cost of your own sanity, of your own overwhelm, because it's okay if they're not acted on immediately, because they are still valid. You can write them down, put them somewhere safe, remember to come back later when you have capacity to do them properly. And if you don't have the capacity to do them properly, then schedule in a time later on in the year, give yourself a month, check in, and realize, I wasn't as crash hot about this idea as I thought I was. What can you do to get the systems rolling? Because this is how personal brands, especially those of really big celebrities or people that you admire or role models that you've come across in your life, it is because that they've done these. It's because, and I hate to say it, it's because they've done the fundamentals. They've spent the time repeating themselves over and over again, getting their messages drilled in to not just themselves, but their audience. And their personal brands are going to look effortless on the outside because they've built a foundation of boring consistency behind the scenes. And that's why it's annoying. Because I don't want to be boring. I don't want things to be simplistic. But simplicity is not the absence of ambition. It is what protects your ambition long term. Long enough so that you can actually achieve your goals. And this has taken me a really long time to realize that. I'm really kind of annoyed at myself, to be honest. When you can sustain another offering, when you can sustain another platform, when you can sustain another method to your marketing, your video marketing, or however you're communicating in the world, because you are communicating. No matter what you're doing with your personal brand, in your life you are communicating. Be it for your job, for your career, for your side hustle, or just in your day-to-day life, you are communicating. And a marketing and a personal brand marketing strategy is designed to make that easier so you can grow your personal brand. When your life can sustain another offering, you will know. But until then, doing less and being boring is always better than doing things badly. And I'm not saying testing. That is a completely different podcast episode. You can test things, you can hypothesize things, you're allowed to do things badly. But repeatedly burning yourself out is doing things badly. Because burning out hides ambition. It makes you feel like you're stopping starting all the damn time because you're not recognizing the difference between whether it's burnout or just you've lost interest in what you're trying to do or who you're trying to serve with your personal brand. Repeating your core message may be boring, but it's not going to be boring to the people who care about it. It's not going to be boring to the people who you're trying to build trust with and to remember you. Your capacity for sustainable growth is within you. You just need to stop putting extra boulders on your shoulders every 5 minutes because you are bored or you don't have anyone kind of pulling your reins in as they would if you were in a corporate role. Your big idea doesn't mean big pressure. And being boring to yourself, and I want to caveat that a little bit there, being boring to yourself is not a bad thing. Your marketing can be explosive, interesting, and you can strategize and plan for that. But to yourself, it needs to be a bit boring. It needs to be humdrum. But the energy that I give to people, the energy that I give out, because I want to change people's lives. And even this week, I have been attending a couple of courses online and I introduced myself. I had my elevator pitch ready to go. And in the chat box, I had 6 different people commenting and saying, I didn't know that like your type of work existed. I know I need you. Where's your website link? And this is just because I have exuberant. I have passion. I care about who I'm talking to and I care about the work that I'm doing. So it is going to come through the screen. It is going to come through the camera. Why? Because I've practiced. Because I was boring and just kept going consistently. And when you've got big ideas, it is okay. Your brain is constantly going to have big ideas. But parking that idea is not a failure. It is a smart resource management of your own energy. You are growing this personal brand because no one cares about you as much as you care about you. And your personal brand is not that reflection of that. Your personal brand is a constant focus on your audience. So simple foundations, especially in a marketing strategy with a marketing coaching professional, gives you the freedom to do more with the time that you actually have. And being boring to yourself so your audience can catch up with you and to the passion that you give. I know, wasn't that a fun episode? I know I kind of scared you a little bit with that episode title there. So I thank you so much. Aroha, oh God, I'm I'm going to find if I've been saying it wrong this entire time, I'm going to be dubbing myself with the new name for that one. So I apologize if I've said that wrong in any fashion. If you're in your podcasting app right now, please give us 5 stars. I'd really appreciate it. Or just give us a review and see what things I need to improve and feedback on. I always love hearing those things. And thank you so much if you do so. Well, thanks in advance is something I've learned this week. Thanks in advance for giving me a 5-star review. And in that podcast catcher of choice, feel free to line up these next 2 episodes which are related to what we talked about today. Episode 46, Marketing Burnout Signs and Fixes. I think we can understand why I've lined that up, because your energy is what's going to keep you going. And being able to identify marketing burnout and how it looks, but also how to prevent it, is going to be something that you are going to need when we work together. And the other episode I want you to line up is episode 105, Simple Marketing on Hard Weeks. So in those times when you are feeling overwhelmed, you've committed to too much, or you've just put on so many damn boulders on your shoulders, let's take this opportunity to build simple systems and reusing what you already have so you can stay visible without burning yourself into the damn ground. So from here, I would love you to take a simple action. So you probably have plenty of ideas from today's podcast, and that is okay. I'm going to ask you to do this simple action for me, though. So unless you are driving or operating heavy machinery or operating children or pets, take your time to write a list, either pen or paper, or maybe on a notes app on your phone. Write a list of everything that you're currently working on or that you want to add to your plate. Make sure you separate those 2 lists. And then do your best to put a star or demarcate next to the one thing that if you focus on this alone, it would be the biggest impact for you right now. Take 5 minutes, mind dump all your things, and then maybe leave it for a couple of minutes, come back, and look at those things objectively, not with your personality attached, not with your reasons or anything that you've sunk into, any of that sunk cost fallacy into it. Just objectively look at what you need to focus on right now to make the biggest impact. And everything else can go in the when I have capacity list, or slow down list, or take the foot off the accelerator list, whatever it is. Once you build a consistent system, you can continue to do it. But for now, be boring for yourself. And if you want help figuring out anything that I've just mentioned today, or if you want to figure out what actually helps you with your personal branding right now, please do check out the link for the Disco chat where we can chat 13 minutes together and come up with a really clear plan, or be able to link you on to something like my golden hour resets if you are already doing this and you just need a reset, or if you're someone who is starting from scratch, we're going to do Glow and Grow branding session. Either way, I will be there, and I want to be able to support you in that fact. Did you grab your next personal branding action? Make sure to check out the show notes, the links, and the resources in the first link of the description. And while you're there, check out the second link for something that might be exactly what you're looking for. If this episode has helped you in any way, the best thing you can do is leave a quick review on your podcast catcher of choice. It genuinely helps so much more than you could ever imagine. This podcast was produced on Wadawurrung land. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. See you next week. Show up, be seen, get booked.